Hi everyone, it's me again for our weekly Life or Biz Wisdom Facebook Live. I am quite a bit later tonight. I had some other priorities during the day, but I hope that you all have had a great start to your week. So what I want to talk to you about tonight is why we need to identify and consider, as in think about, explore, think about our needs versus our wants in both our lives and our businesses. And the nuts and bolts of it is that I think that we need to do that to be able to appropriately progress both our lives and our businesses in terms of success. We need to consciously consider what is a need, how we define it for ourselves, what is a want, how much of each of them should we be incorporating into the running of our business and or the running of our lives, and why. Really delving more deeply into why. So that's what I wanted to talk to you for a little bit about tonight. So I want to start off by actually asking you if you are really clear for yourself as to what a need is in your life, how you define a need versus how you define a want. Now, you might be really clear on that. You might have really consciously thought about it, but a lot of people actually don't. They don't take the time to do that. So, you might say, well, I want a Ferrari for my birthday, or I need X amount of dollars income in my business. But have you really actually unpacked what that is? And if we think of the example of money, for me personally, there's an amount that I think I need in terms of meeting my expenses and at least a minimum basic quality of life. And then it reaches almost a tipping point to when it becomes a want. So I might want an income of $500,000 a year, but I know that personally I don't need that. So I think it's really important, and as I said, I'll talk to you about that, to differentiate between the two. Now, if you haven't done this, what I'd actually really suggest that you do is to take some time out and sit down and write, and perhaps on a bit of paper, 2 columns. On one side is your needs in your life, and the other side is your wants. So if you actually look at the major areas of your life, so the coaches amongst us will be familiar with the life balance wheel. And there are 8 main areas of our lives. So the first one is our partners, intimate partners, then other family and friends. Then the third one is our work. So for us, it's business, or it may even be that you're working part-time, so it might be employed work as well. It's also our health, our finances, our fun and enjoyment, what we do for our leisure time. Also our contribution, how we might give back if we do some charity work or helping family members or neighbours or something like that. And then the last one is growth. It's around personal development. They're considered the major areas of our life. So if you were to take each of those major areas and have a think about what you see as being your absolute needs in each of those areas and writing those down, and then also doing the same for what your wants are in each of those areas. So, for instance, I know that for me, if I think about friends and family, an absolute need is that I feel respected and valued by them. And I don't know about you, but I've certainly had experiences in my past where I haven't felt respected or valued, and I put up with it often for a long time. But now I've actually got more used to knowing what my need is, because I've identified them and they're more clear, that I know then that if they're, I'm not talking about casual friendships, I'm talking about, stronger relationships, that I actually, as I said, I have this need to be respected and valued. And if that need of mine isn't being met, there's been instances where I've actually cut that relationship off, or I've distanced myself as much as possible with some family members, because I know that if that need is not met for me, my life is actually impacted negatively in some way. For me, I can get frustrated. I can feel my self-worth, is less, becomes less, all of that, whatever the impacts are that you identify. As I said, I gave the example of money, where I need a certain amount to be able to pay the bills, but over a threshold, then it actually becomes a want. And that's the thing. You might find that your needs and wants, they might be on a continuum, the same continuum for some things. So it's just an interesting exercise for you to do, process for you to do, if you haven't done it already. And of course, that then begs the question, well, why? As in, what's the benefit of knowing what your needs are and your wants? And the way that I view it is that when I'm clear about what my needs are, and I'm also clear about, with some of them there's a sort of a measurement, how much do I need? As I said in the example of money, or energy, or quality. I was talking about quality of a relationship, or whatever that is. Then I know that that's what I have to attain. That it can actually be a great way of identifying what our goals are, or inspired actions, as I prefer to call them, where some direction can go in my life, where I want to put some energy, some time towards. Also, it can help us when we're actually being asked, for instance, by other people to help them do things, or a request is made of us. And we can actually identify, have our own needs been met? And if they have, then you may well be able to help. If they haven't, then consciously then making the decision as to whether you meet that need of yours, or you do what it is the person asks. Now, it's not always as simple as that, I understand, but I'm wanting to give you an example. And the important thing is, needs are non-negotiable. In other words, they need to be met. And if they're not, then there's negative repercussions that happen as a result. And it's worth, when you're writing down, identifying what your needs are, to consider what could happen if those needs aren't met. So looking at the example of money, I could be having the creditors, knocking on my door. I could be evicted from my house because my mortgage isn't being paid, or whatever it is. Some of them are more drastic repercussions than others. But when you're making the decision about your own wants or somebody else's wants, you want to make that decision in light of consciously knowing whether your needs have been met in these areas of your life, including your business, and if you don't meet those needs, what are going to be the impacts? And are you prepared to have that happen? And if so, how can you ameliorate that? It's like a risk. How can you actually, what can you do to try and minimize the outfall? So I think, as I said, it helps with boundaries, setting boundaries with other people, knowing when you can say yes or no to other people's requests, knowing when you can say yes or no to your own wants. Because unfortunately, a lot of people are fueled by wanting to meet their wants and not enough of their needs. We probably all know people like that, and we've probably perhaps been like that. I think I have been at different times in my life. But that comes at a price, as I said, when our needs aren't being met. So then why is it important to have wants and be clear about them? I think it's because, my God, life would be really dull and boring, and there wouldn't be perhaps as much fulfillment if we only had our needs met without any of our wants. You know, our wants are almost like the cherry on the cake sort of thing. The cherry on top. They're often what give us our fulfillment, not saying that needs don't, because often they will, but our wants are usually the more perhaps enjoyable, fun things that are, as I said, the really the nice stuff, so to speak, because we want them. And it's important to want them because, they can be used for things like rewards. So, for instance, I will often identify for myself what's a want that I can use a reward when I'm doing a certain amount of work. And especially if that work I find is a bit boring or something that I don't really want to be doing, then I can say, okay, I'm going to be doing this for half an hour, or I'm going to do it till it's finished, and then I can have what it is that I'm wanting. So we can use our wants as a reward, but also we want to schedule or book in our wants, because, as I said, they are what make life, that much more enriched, I think is perhaps a good way to put it. But we need to, as I said before, consider the how many of the wants you are giving for yourself versus how many of your needs you're meeting. If you're meeting your needs, then by all means, give yourself your wants. But if you're not meeting your needs and you're actually finding that you're looking for and you're prioritizing the wants too much, then you might want to stop and consider how you can actually meet your needs better, and then look at incorporating the wants more. So as I said at the start, I've found that to be a really useful process for me. It helps me when I'm planning what it is I want to do with my day, my week, my month, etc. It helps me be able to prioritize. I can prioritize my needs, and then I can prioritize my wants, and know that I can do these wants, have these wants without, guilt, without worrying, have I met my needs? Because we don't want to be stressing ourselves and worrying ourselves. We want to enjoy our wants. That's what life's, hopefully about meeting our needs and enjoying our wants. And if you are able to, sometimes you can incorporate them at the same time. That's great. But the point is being clear about identifying what they are. And it's so personal. What is a need for me may not be a need for you. So that's why I suggest that you do this for yourself. Some of the examples I've given you might relate to, but maybe not. So come up with your own and be clear about when you're choosing a want or a need, you're that you can make a conscious choice, knowing what as I said, the repercussions might be if you do them or not do them. So I'll leave that there. Any questions you have about what I've been talking about, any comments you want to make, then please just obviously put those in the comments section, or if you prefer, you're welcome to message me. And any suggestions you've got for my Facebook lives going forward, the Life and Biz Wisdom on the Mondays. I'm open to your suggestions. Obviously, I want to be helping you, because that then is, it's what I'm here for, and I will feel better that I'm meeting your needs or wants, pardon the pun, for your life and your business success. So with that, I will bid you a great rest of the evening and look forward to catching up with you again soon. Bye for now.